There we are. I was going to start talking. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Rob's Rogues and my impromptu live chat. Decided to do this here pretty quick. I just want to make sure the other window is not, I'm not picking up sound. Okay, I'm not. So the chat log is open where I can see it if you want to chat in off to the side. If you're watching this on Facebook, click the link for to take you to the actual YouTube page, and then you can chat in, and in real time I'll be able to see, like, hey Rob, let's see that book or whatever it is again, or I want to see a figure in the back row. I really don't want to do that, but maybe I will. So like I said in the description, this is the Cincinnati Comic Expo / Batman Day. I don't know why I did the slash. Batman Day haul. If I look tired, it's because I am incredibly tired. My wife and I celebrated our 10-year anniversary. We went to the Dominican Republic, and we got out literally about 5 hours ahead of Hurricane Maria as it came through the Dominican Republic. So once we got back to the United States and got back to Ohio, we did a little day trip around the Columbus area. Everyone loves the Drake podcast just chimed in. Hey, thanks a lot there. That's Terrence, by the way. Comment on the Red Hood hat from Arkham Knight. So we did a little day trip, and then I had mentioned to my wife earlier that the Cincinnati Comic Expo is coming up, and Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder are going to be there. But we were just getting back to that, and Terrence says, I'm not on Wi-Fi now, so it's not working too good. Well, at least you can kind of hear how this is going, Terrence. So we'll kind of see here. So if you want to join in on the chat, just again pop over on the YouTube page, and you can maybe if you can want to see some stuff better. So long and short of it is, my wife surprised me with a ticket to Cincinnati Comic Expo. She wanted another night in a hotel, so she stayed in the hotel while I went to the convention. So the first thing I'm going to show here. This is kind of like pre-Batman Day haul. I went to a local comic shop in Columbus, Ohio, and it is Comic Town. There we go, Comic Town, Ohio. What's up, Dark? I'm always so bad at pronouncing the YouTube names. So I'll just say, what's up, Darkness? Hey, I got it right. So I picked this up. I didn't realize this was out yet. This is the Court of the Owls coloring book. And this is pretty cool. There's no dialogue in it, but it's essentially if anybody has the Noir or the Greg Capullo pencils, this is essentially what it is. I'll open up a couple pages here so you can see. So since Batman has a lot of black in it, and the Courts of Owls had a lot of black, you can tell that the coloring book's going to be not much to color in some pages, but it is pretty cool to look at. And I like this page right if I can find it. I won't show you every single page here. Now, being a Tim Drake Robin fan, I was hoping that Red Robin was in here somewhere. He's not. But it is basically a truncated story. What's up for dinner, Otto? Tuning in while Automatica cooks. Yeah, what is for dinner? Depending on what you have, maybe that's what we'll have. So I thought this was pretty cool. I've got the Batgirl version of this coloring book. I have the Hush Volume 1 coloring book, and Hush is exactly the first volume of Hush, so I kind of hope they would do that. But this is basically the whole Court of the Owls story, just kind of truncated, with just basically the Batman bits in it. So this is about $15.99, depending on where you get it. And Automatic is having pork chops. I don't think we're going to have pork chops, maybe pizza. So anyway, this is out there. I got it pre-Batman Day. And then because I was in the Dominican Republic, I didn't get to pick up my comics for about 2 weeks. So I'm not going to say spoilers. I already know who Mr. Oz was. I kind of wanted to know before I left for the Dominican Republic. And if you listen to Robin, Everyone Loves the Drake, Terrence had it right on the nose. So good job there, Terrence. So the only comic book that I picked up that I don't have on my pull list that I'm going to get probably this Wednesday, I picked up the Red Death Batman Dark Knight metal tie-in. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's the only comic book that I picked up. So now, these aren't in any particular order. After the Cincinnati Comic Expo, we went to a Barnes & Noble, and I picked up the 2 Batman Day books that they had there, Harley Quinn, you know, #1, and the Dark Knight Returns cover, which some people were upset that Batman Day, Harley Quinn kind of stole Batman Day. I mean, it's her 25th anniversary. I mean, I get it. Harley Quinn, in a funny way, is now part, you know, the Trinity of DC is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Harley Quinn is now in there as well as being, you put an image of Harley Quinn, even like this, you know, Harley Quinn logo that they have here. People know who that is. You know, young girls know who that is. My nieces and nephews know who Harley Quinn is. Who would have thought from an animated series cartoon 25 years later that Harley Quinn is going to be as big as Superman, if not bigger in some cases. So it didn't bother me. This was after the convention, so I didn't go to a Barnes & Noble while this was going on because I was in the Cincinnati Comic Expo. So they could have had a whole bunch of Harley Quinn stuff going on. But it's still Batman Day, so I really don't care what anybody says. I had a great Batman Day. If you were following me on Twitter for the Robin Everyone Loves the Drake or Batman and Robin Eternal podcast page, I don't think I put anything on my own personal Twitter, but on my Rob's Rogues page I did. I got a chance to meet Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, Jay Lee, and Ty Templeton. That was really pretty cool. Automatica says she started to color Tim and Steph on their the other night from the Batgirl coloring book. The Batgirl coloring book is really cool. It encompasses all the versions of Batgirl. And I was surprised to see Damian, Tim, and Dick Grayson. I don't think there was any Jason Todd in there, but some other Robins and obviously some Batman stuff. But more importantly, all the different versions of Batgirl I thought was pretty cool. So I'm going to show you the books that I bought from the convention. These are nothing special, and one that I duplicated. I've got an app on my phone, and I read the number wrong. I hate when I duplicate a book, but it was only $2. So I'm trying to fill some holes in my Batman collection. I've got Batman 700 here. I took it to the Dominican Republic. I took a whole bunch of books that I put on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and stuff. One of the books I read was Batman Heart of Hush. And Hush references something about the Joker putting a pacemaker into him, and I had no idea where that came from. Well, I went to the convention, and I found the issue that the Joker was using the pacemaker. And this was a series I absolutely loved, Batman Gotham Knights. So I'm throwing it out there to Terrence in our Batman and Robin Eternal podcast. If we want to cover some comics that feature Batman and Robin, I think this is a great series, and I was sad to see Gotham Knights get canceled. I thought there was some really cool things that they did here. So I want to go back and try to complete this whole storyline to figure out how the Joker got a hold of Hush. So Heart of Hush, I loved it. It was really good. I bought this one. I already have completed The Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul, but I didn't realize that there was another variant cover for it. And I love this color. I like this better than the standard cover. Of course, it's got Tim on it. It's got a cool shot of Damian down here. Sorry for the glare from the camera. So that is what, Batman 670. This is the book I duplicated. I don't know why I got it. Well, what I think I did is that I just picked up I read the wrong title. I don't know if I thought I was picking up 960. I don't know what I was because I have the whole Reborn series. So, hey, there you go. Hey, Rob, it's your fault. Toys R Us is going out of business. You need to buy more toys. According to what I read about Toys R Us is filing for bankruptcy, and they're keeping their stores open, which is typically what stores and businesses try and do. They file for bankruptcy, wash away a lot of debt, and then see if they can manage their stores for another 6 months. So I drove by 2 Toys R Us's in Cincinnati, and they're hiring managers, all positions, night, day, evening clerks. So Toys R Us is operating like normal. So so there's my duplicate book. And then this one I never picked up. I started really reading comics when the death of the family was going on, but it had already ended, so I picked it up in a trade. So I never got any of the single issues. So I picked up Batman, no, I was supposed to say 428. If you know what 428 is, it is The Death of Jason Todd. Now, I paid $9 for this. At the convention, I saw this book as high as $50. I think 65 is the highest I saw. But in the section where I got this, the highest book was 35. There was a book for 25, and this was in there for 9. They were like, those 3 books are right in front of another. And there was another guy standing next to me, and I said, well, why is this book $9 and this book, I held the other 2, were essentially, you know, $30? And the guy's like, well, it's the condition. I looked this thing over and over and held it next to the one that was $35. I couldn't tell any difference. I said, oh, is this a reprint? He's like, no, it's first printing. When I got home, I checked it. It's definitely a first printing. So the imperfections on this must be minuscule. So I'm happy to say that I've got this. The only thing I'm missing from my Jason Todd collection is his very first appearance before they retconned it and made him a tire-stealing thug. So those are the books I picked up. So I think what people are wanting to see are the books I actually got signed at the convention. These are in no particular order. Actually, now as I'm saying it, I'm putting them in order because I have a couple other signatures out of hand, out of order. Let me fix this right here. So one of the first things, getting Snyder Capullo, they did like a VIP package, so you could pay, I think it was $75, I think, for a VIP only panel with Snyder Capullo, and then you could bring them 5 books and they would sign your 5 books, and you could buy a special only VIP print that's only sold in the VIP section. So I don't know if they were charging for signatures beyond the 5 in there. If they were probably $5. Let's see, real quick, Terrence says it was $9 because of all the blood and mud on it. That's true. Oh, wait, that was Jason's blood. Demon joke there somewhere, or maybe he meant Damien joke somewhere there. So I knew the VIP thing was going on right at the beginning of the convention. I looked at a map and knew right where they were going to be. So I made a beeline to Snyder Capullo's table that they were going to be at, and I was 15th in line. And I heard from the vendors and people, or their handlers basically, that they were going to cap the line at 100 for that particular time. Then the next signing was going to be, at 5 o'clock. So by the time I got there, right when the convention floors opened, we got on the floor right at 10 o'clock. So from 10 o'clock till 12:30, I was standing in line, didn't do anything else until they got out there. So for us, like for the commoners, as it will, where we got 3 free books for them to sign, and then every book after that was $5. I know some people roll their eyes at people signing books or you paying for signatures. For Snyder and Capullo, these are people that are obviously writing Batman currently right now, and they're in high demand, so time is money for them. That didn't bother me at all that they were charging $5. This was my opportunity to get 2 people to sign books that I absolutely love. Not only was I taking single issues in, but I've been liking taking trades in, and I took in the very first printing of Batman Death of the Family. See how the 2 kind of tied together. And what I like about this one, I don't know if anybody's ever seen this before, in its first pressing, it had a slip cover. So if you remember the original Death of the Family books, which I have a couple down here, where you could pull the face back, and then behind it you would see Tim Drake or Damian or Bruce or Jason or Harley or whatever. This particular one, you peel the face back of the Joker from the slipcover, and you can see the muscle face. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen this before. Could be kind of gruesome here, but I will show you the slipcover. This pulls off, and there's the Joker's ugly mug there. Kind of disgusting. And this is the only time that this was printed in the very first hardcover edition. So if you buy this in stores now, it'll look just like this, normally. So I wanted to make sure Snyder Capullo signed this one, and of course they did. I'm almost doing the metal right there. There you go. And they commented on this, and Scott said, "Oh wow, man, I haven't seen this since the very first pressing," and he said, "We don't even have any of these to sell at our booth here." So they were both kind of flipping through, my book here, and Greg's like, yeah, right on, man. I'm glad you brought this one up. He's like, Scott, we got to see if we can get more of these, printed. This was so cool. And they knew that the dust jacket was a little thin, so he's like, Greg was the first one to open. He's like, I'm gonna be very, very careful with this, man. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I was glad to have this. This is probably my favorite story that Snyder Capullo had done. Love the Court of Owls, but this was more Bat family oriented, so I really enjoyed this. And these are going to be not any particular order here. Funny story of this. Here's Batman #1, Snyder Capullo. This is the Ethan Van Sciver variant. I didn't know who Greg Capullo was before he got onto Batman. Didn't know what his artwork looked like. Went to the store to pick this up the very first day. Saw this and Greg's issue, and I just picked this one because I thought this cover looked cooler than the Capullo one. And then much later, after that book was going through the roof, I was like, oh, I should have got it. But this book is also going for a nice little penny. I didn't get any of these signatures, you can see down here, to go CGC or anything like that. These are going on my wall or on a mantle back here. So that's cool to have Batman #1 signed by Capullo and Snyder. Of course, I got metal signed. This is the midnight variant. If you went to the comic book shops on midnight, you could pick this one up. So I got that. Funny story about this one. This is Court of the Owls issue #5. This is the rotating issue as you're reading it to show Batman's deliriousness. I don't know if you can see it here, if it's gonna, but Greg right here, as he was passing the book off to Scott, grabbed the book like this and then sat it down and totally smudged his signature. And Scott's like, hey, meat hooks, you just smudged this guy's. I don't know if you can kind of see the smudge there right up here. He was like, hey, meat hooks, you just smudged his book. And Greg's like, oh, we don't have any more of this issue. And he's like, no, we don't. And I was like, it's cool, it's fine. I said, this will make it an even more rare collector's item. I said, I've got part of your thumbprint. And Greg's like, what are you gonna do with my thumbprint? I was like, I'm just kidding. So I thought that was, they got to be kind of playful back and forth. So every book after that, Scott was like, hand it to me gently. So a little bit of a character here. A story out of this one. It's like, why is that signature smudged? Like, well, let me tell you, there was a funny story there. So that's pretty cool. And then, of course, being a big Tim Drake fan and liking Death in the Family so much, even though this is a Scott Lobdell written story, it does tie in to Death of the Family. So I think if I can open this up here really quick, I was kind of hoping they would sign off to the side. As I'm talking about, there's Tim Drake right there. So these are pretty cool. The only one I'm missing out of this is Catwoman. I've been trying to track that one down and I can't find it anywhere. So Greg did the cover to this one and Robin. So being the two big Robins fans, I had all of them, but with $5 a book after the first initial 3 got to be expensive, so I just kind of chose the ones I liked better character-wise. So the funny thing is, like, you're going to pay, $5 for Scott on this one, $5 for Greg on this one. Greg was only supposed to sign this one, or these two, because, Scott really didn't have anything to do with it other than his story. And Greg slid it right over to Scott, and Scott signed them both. So technically, I get 2 extra signatures for free here that I said I wasn't going to get because I didn't think Greg was going to pass them over to Scott. So I got Scott and Greg to sign both of these books. So it'd be pretty cool to get Tomasi and Gleason to sign the Robin one, and then I would have all 4 signatures of the people that helped do this part of the story. So I thought that was pretty cool. To my good friend Automatica, thank you very much. This was a wonderful surprise. She went to New York Comic Con 2015. Wow, 2 years ago, and sent me this. And I so bad on their names. Flora, and Maury, one of the inkers and colorist on Batman and Robin Eternal. That the story was spearheaded by James Tynion IV and Scott Snyder. So I had to get Scott Snyder's signature on this book, and there is Snyder's right here. And here's the other 2 signatures that Automatica was able to get for me from New York Comic Con. So it'd be great to get a hold of Tony Daniels at some point and James Tynion IV to complete this book of getting all the signatures of everybody that's on it. So to get the colorist and inker on this already, it was great. I would probably have never had the opportunity. And this was while Batman and Robin Eternal was going on. So now to have Scott Snyder's signature on this makes it really, really cool. So, and Automatica just said, so glad you got Snyder on there. This was the big book. This was one of the 3 free. I thought if I'm only going to get 3 books, it was The Death of the Family Trade, Batman #1, and this one, and then I paid for the other ones that you saw. So again, Automatica, thank you very much for this book. Having Snyder on it is huge, huge. And I did take an All-Star Batman, and the one that I took was, I believe it's Fourth World Comics Lee Bermejo variant cover. This is a beautiful, beautiful cover. I'm sorry that it's, this is the black and white version, and the art wraps around on the back. And I also got the colored version. So if you put them together, this is probably going to be so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. It's Batman and Robin. You can kind of see there's the Robin version. I didn't pay to get this one signed. My goal would be to get Lee Bermejo to sign the back of it on the Robin section, because I think this Robin is so cool. And I got Scott Snyder on this one. It'd be cool to get John Romita Jr. here or something on it. But it'd be nice to get these kind of framed and put together to kind of complete the image. So sorry for the bad lighting here, everybody. Hopefully you can kind of see all of that. And I believe that was the last one. I do have one more thing here. I can't talk. Wasn't going to intend for this to be a really long video. I took a whole bunch of other books. That's from Snyder Capullo. I did take some Black Mirror issues. I took the Black Mirror trade, and it was just a money thing. Yes, I would have loved to just drop every single book I had and said, please sign. But if I'd known I was going to get a free signature from Snyder, I would have had him sign my Black Mirror trade. But, you know, it made the trip, didn't go. Jay Lee kind of surprised me. He was also charging $5 a signature. So after I already dropped 30 on Snyder and Capullo, I also took Jay Lee's Batman and Superman New 52 book, and a bunch of others. Gotham Knights books that he was on as he was starting to get popular in DC. I didn't have him sign any of those, so I thought, what do I have that he drew a Robin on? And the closest book that I had was Injustice Gods Among Us comic series, and there's Damian Wayne Robin right here. So, and John says I believe he said he also charged. Yeah, I was kind of surprised Jay Lee did, and Jay Lee, there was nobody there. I was really surprised he didn't have a huge line. He had a wonderful booth, a lot of cool prints I would have bought. But again, I kind of chunked a little bit of money at Snyder Capullo because I didn't know if I would have that opportunity again. So there's a signature down here. I didn't show that off. So I always love his Batman, and I don't see him draw a Robin very much at all ever. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then the other one, since it is the 25th anniversary of Harley Quinn, which also makes it the 25th anniversary of Batman the Animated Series, Ty Templeton was there. So if anybody's followed Ty Templeton, he was not charging for signatures, but he also helped draw the Batman Adventures comic series. Out of all the ones that I have, I only had one book of his that I could find readily without going through the filing cabinet really quick, since I packed for this pretty quick. So that was pretty cool. I told him how much I loved the series, and I really wish that he was kind of on the series a lot more than than what he was. I think he was towards the tail end of it, but maybe not so much in the beginning. So those were all the books that I had. The big thing for me was to get Snyder Capullo, and I would have been completely happy if that's all I did was spend the 2 hours in line and the 5 minutes I had with them to kind of talk and say, hey, thanks a lot for what you're doing with Batman. Snyder asked, what do you think of metal? I said, it's crazy, it's wacky, it's zany, it's a break from the norm right now. And he said, that's exactly what we wanted to hear. And Greg was like, yeah, right on and everything. So Said he charged $5 at SCEE Icons. I'm having a hard time understanding that one. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, John. So the last thing that I picked up, normally I'll pick up like an action figure, and I was kind of looking for the Batman and Son Batman figure with the big flowing blue cape. I couldn't find that anywhere. I was finding a lot of newer stuff, but for me it was more just getting some books signed, and if I could find a little thing here or there. But I did find a t-shirt that I was walking by his t-shirt booth. It was like right around the trip, right around the circuit as you were getting food or something to drink. And I know when I show this to you guys, you're going to have seen this type of artwork somewhere. I think I even had it here on Rob's Rogues for a little bit. It's the silhouette images of the hero, maybe as their younger self, and then who they are. And at the bottom, it'll say Justice. So we picture of Bruce Wayne in silhouette, and then behind him is another superimposed silhouette. I think you know what I mean here. So I saw somebody doing a variation of that, and this one is of Robin. Surprise, surprise. So as you can see, the new 52 Robin there, and then behind him is, you know, the Tim Drake Robin. So talked to the guy about being a big Tim Drake fan. He gave me one of his cards, and something that I heard for the very first time that I never thought of, and Terrence, if you're listening, he's like, hey, do you have one of your cards for your podcast? And I went, no, I don't. And I bet I told 15 people about the podcast. And I was writing, you know, the Twitter feed on the podcast. And here's our Twitter handle. Here's the Facebook message. So I'm going to start printing up some cards and hand some of those off. So I know you guys have probably seen a lot of these things here. So I don't know who the person was that initially did those type of images, but somebody took that and doing a version of it too. And he said that he was getting requests like, do Robin, do Robin. So in his mind, he was like, oh, we'll do Dick Grayson. Well, Dick Grayson is Nightwing, so they did Dick Grayson. And somebody's like, no, we want Robin, Tim Drake Robin. So they had that, and they were actually making them on site as well. I don't have their card with me. I wish I did. If I can find it, I will put it down in the information below after this is up. What's up, Christopher? How's it going? So that's my long rambling session of what I picked up. I didn't necessarily think I was going to talk this long, but you know how it is when I get behind the camera. So tomorrow is back to the real world, back to work. So this is our last few hours of our vacation that we had. So it's kind of cool to celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary and then be able to tack on Cincinnati Comic Expo and Batman Day all on one thing. So thanks for watching. I just recently uploaded the Batgirl Multiverse Mattel figure, and I think I'm going to get into the Rookie Wave coming up next. I've got all those, I think, put together, so I'll probably upload one tomorrow. Check out my two podcasts, Robin Everyone Loves the Drake, and then the new one that's starting up is Batman and Robin Eternal podcast. We're on Twitter and Facebook as well with both of those podcasts. So thanks for watching. I will see you guys on the next review, and I'm going to go sit back, relax, and enjoy the last bit of vacation we have. See you guys in the next video. Bye.